Okay, muchachos, so today we're talking about subject pronouns with the verb said. So basically what I'm doing is I'm going over a couple of things that we've gone over already, we've seen, and I'm going to bring together two different concepts, the subject pronouns, the verb said, and I'm going to add an additional detail of adjectives, just so that we can make some complete, meaningful sentences. So subject pronouns, just to refresh your memory, what are subject pronouns? Subject pronouns are those words that replace proper nouns to talk about who does an action. So subject pronouns in English. Let's look at those. I, you, he, she, and we're going to throw in an extra you because it coincides with the Spanish one. So even though we have a you here, we're going to throw in an extra you because, like I said, there's a Spanish version of that, and I want you to see how it pairs up. So now let's give you the plural forms of these. So we have I as a singular. What's the plural form? The plural form is we, right? What's the plural form of you? The plural form of you is you all. What's the plural form of he? That would be they. The plural form of she, that would be they. And the plural form of you, again, in English it's just you, but we can just go ahead and add the little detail of you all. So because you know these, you can kind of say these before I give you the answer. How do I say I? I say yo. How do I say you? How do I say you? I say tú. How do I say he? I say él. And she is ella. And I'm going to add the extra you in Spanish that we use when we're being polite. That would be usted. Okay, so I'll add a little note here, polite or formal. Okay, we. We is nosotros. That's just the plural form of yo, nosotros. You all, vosotros. Now this is only in Spain, so I'll write that right there. So you won't hear me say that because I speak Latin American Spanish, but it's good for you to know that. How do I say they? Well, the plural form of él would be ellos. The plural form of ella would be ellas. And the plural form you all, the plural form for usted, would be ustedes. Okay, so those are the subject pronouns, and we've seen those, you know those. But we're going to combine those with these verbs over here. So the verb said, to form a sentence, you need a subject, you need a verb, and then you need an object. So here's your verb. And remember that the verb said means to be in English. So to be in English is the verb I am, he is, she is, we are, they are. Okay, so basically that comes down to three different forms in English. In Spanish, you know that there are a few more forms, but you learn a little song to help you remember those. Yo soy tú eres, yo soy tú eres. I won't sing the whole thing because you've heard me do it countless times. But really quickly here, yo, you can say it again with me. Yo soy, tú eres, él, ella, usted es, usted es. And so now I'll give you the plural forms of those. Nosotros, or actually you give them to me. Nosotros somos. Vosotros, this isn't part of the song, but it's good for you to see it. Sois. And then the plural form of él would be ellos, and the verb that goes with that is son. Same thing for ellas, son. Same thing for ustedes, son. Okay, so far what we have here is we have the subject pronouns, who does the action. We have the verb said, which is basically just the am, is, are in Spanish. So when we say yo soy, what we're saying is I am. When we say tú eres, we're saying you are. When we say él es, we're saying he is. And again, guys, the easiest way to get that consistently correct is just to make that a rote memory. Memorize it. You say yo soy tú eres, and you get to the point where you don't have to think about it. It just automatically happens. Okay, so why are we seeing these? We're seeing these because we're going to add a new detail to it. We're going to add these adjectives down here. So adjectives are describing words, and you already know several adjectives because you already had to describe yourself multiple times. You've said sentences like yo soy alto, or yo soy inteligente, yo soy intelectual, trabajador, any of these adjectives that you have in your speaking notebook. Okay, so basically here you have a sentence. You have a subject, you have a subject, here's your subject, yo, you have a verb, soy, and you have an adjective, alto. If you're a guy, you're alto. If you're a girl, you're alta. If you're a guy, you're intelectual. You're trabajador. If you're a girl, you're trabajadora. Okay, so we know how to do those. We practiced that a good bit. But now what we're going to do is we're going to do those same sentences, but we're going to talk about other people. Instead of saying I am, we're going to say he is. We're going to say she is or they are. So I'll give you the yo soy alto, yo soy bajo, yo soy intelectual, yo soy trabajador. Okay, so those are adjectives. Let's change the yo now to a different subject pronoun. We're going to say él. So instead of saying I am, we're going to say he. So there's the él. Okay, what goes with él? Let's look over here. Él es. Okay, so now we're saying he is. Él es. Okay, so let's finish off the adjective for him. Él es, use the same adjective. Él es alto. Or él es bajo. Or él es rubio. Again, those adjectives are making that sentence. And check out the O here, en bajo. Why are we using an O? We're using the O because él means he, so obviously he's a guy. We're going to use the masculine form bajo. We're going to use the masculine form rubio. We're going to use the masculine form trabajador. Okay, so there's that masculine form. So those are our sentences to talk about him. We can make those same sentences to talk about her. Instead of saying él, we're going to say ella. Ella es alta. Ella es baja. Ella es rubia. Ella es trabajadora. Okay? So we have the subject pronoun, we have the verb, and we have the adjective. So why did we change alto to alta? Okay, so you know alta is the feminine form. We've got to match it up to the feminine form because we're talking about ella. Ella baja. Ella rubia. Feminine adjectives end with a because this is a feminine pronoun. Okay, so now we're going to do a plural form of the pronoun nosotros. Okay, so there's a plural form of nosotros. We know nosotros means we. And what we're going to do is we're going to pair up nosotros with somos. We always pair it up with somos. Nosotros somos. So there's my sentence, the beginning of my sentence. Nosotros somos. And we'll use the same adjectives. Alto. I'm gonna leave a little blank there. I'm gonna come back to that one. Nosotros somos bajo. Okay, I'll leave a little blank. Come back to it. Nosotros somos trabajador. Okay, and again, I'll leave a little blank and come back to it. All right, so what am I doing? We are. So we know is plural. Somos is the verb form that goes with nosotros. Okay, nosotros somos. So because this adjective is plural, because this noun is plural, we've got to make sure that the adjective that goes with it, it also becomes plural. Okay, so what we have here is nosotros somos. I'm going to take that alto, and because I'm talking about we, plural, I'm going to add an S to that adjective. Nosotros somos altos. Nosotros somos bajos. Nosotros somos trabajador. Now check out how this one doesn't end with an O. Because it doesn't end with an O, it ends with a consonant. I'm going to add an ES to it. That's the way I make adjectives plural when they're ending in a consonant, the R there. Nosotros somos trabajadores. Okay? So what we've done is we've got ellos son. We've got ellos. Here's the subject pronoun. Here's the verb son. And we're going to do the exact same thing. We're going to make it plural again. Ellos son altos. Okay, it's plural. You got to add the S. Ellos son simpáticos. Okay, plural form, add the S. We can do the same thing for feminine. Ellas son rubias. Ellas son trabajadoras. Okay, so our adjectives are now matching up with the subject that we're talking about. If we're talking about plural people, ellos, we've got to make sure that our adjectives end with plural also. Altos. Ellos simpáticos. Okay. Ellas rubias.